Hit these little drops. Yeah! Yeah! Woo! Bike was sliding all over the place. Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the vlog. If you notice this video is a little bit different, is because we are now filming on a GoPro Hero 7. I do like that Sony a6000 I was filming with, but I like the compactability. Okay, I like the size of the GoPro a little bit better. So for install videos and stuff like that, you may see me using this camera a little bit more than the a6000. So today's video is going to be about the light bar install on the Colorado. And if you guys have seen my last two uploads, we are prepping for the Colorado Expedition. That's basically what I'm calling it. But we're going 27 hours away from home here in East Tennessee, all the way to Telluride, Colorado. But let's just go ahead and get straight into the action. We're gonna go over there and move like 4 cars. That way we can get this thing in there and start tearing it down. So now comes the fun part where we gotta move everything out of the way to put the truck on the lift, to get underneath it, to take everything off of it. This is the worst part of having no space. We got one more to go, and we'll have the Colorado in the garage. I may let the Camaro warm up for just a second. Where she's cammed and stuff, it does not like being started up and just shut off immediately. Neither does this old boy. All right. Let's see how the truck starts with the Sniper in a little bit hotter weather. But you guys know I need to fix the tune in this thing a little bit. It does struggle from time to time on some cold starts. I'm gonna roll the window down. This truck does have AC, but pump's acting a little funny right now. The compressor is, so we're gonna let it chill here. Let it build up a little fuel pressure. May have to give it 2 cranks because it's seriously, it's been a while. Oh, look at that. All right, well that right there, boys, that tells me that I need to work on this tune in a little bit cooler weather. Right now it's like, I think it's 83 in here in the shop. It's like 80 degrees in here. And it cranked right up. This is the first video it's ever done that. That is awesome. Here's the best part, man. If y'all ain't seen this video, you gotta check this out. Cutouts. And then when you take your old lady out to dinner, you know, shut the cutout. No big deal. Just to show y'all how dirt nasty low this truck is and why I have to do this, here's why. You're wondering why, if you lower a GMT 400 on a 4.6 drop, why you're gonna have to have an extra splitter. That's why. Actually, this is a 5.6 drop, in case you guys didn't know. And let's see if she's leaked anything. Just a touch. I wouldn't consider that horrible, but it's a small block Chevy. If it don't leak, it probably ain't running, you know? I mean, it ain't that bad. I've seen a lot worse. All right, so enough with the monkey business moving the cars around. Let's get the truck in here. Let's get to tearing this thing down. I just want to give y'all an update. It's been a while. I ain't talked to you guys in forever. I just want to catch up, man. So, all right, back to the normal content. First of all, we're going to start off installing our bumper bracket light bar mounts. It's kind of a mouthful. Basically, these guys go right here in the front. And as you can see, my air dam is actually removed on this truck, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get in there to access these. I might try it. I may be able to actually get this off with the bumper on the truck. Don't hold me to that. The directions in this thing clearly state that you need to take the front bumper off, which is what they're showing here. Of course, this is like a normal Colorado, so a little different on a ZR2, but as you can see, it's pretty involved. You got to take the front face off. So I may try to work around that, but for this video, I may end up actually pulling it off just to see how bad it is. So first of all, we're going to start out taking these top bolts loose across the front chassis. And once we get those pulled loose, I'll take you guys around to the sides and a skid plate, and then we'll try to pop this thing off. All right guys, so we're gonna start off taking these top bolts loose. I didn't film it, but I actually did go ahead and take the skid plate off the truck, which is just 4 bolts. On a ZR2, they're pretty simple. So now that we got those off, you can see we got a couple more bolts in here holding the grill on. I got 2 down there. You got some up here, and you've also got to take some loose from the fender liner, and then we're gonna go underneath because we've got a whole bunch more of these to come off. Then this fascia will pop off. So instead of filming it, I'm not gonna bore you guys to death. We're gonna go ahead and get to work and start pulling this thing apart. All right guys, so I did want to give you a quick rundown on just how many of these things you've got to take out. So you've got several of them that go down through here, which is actually like 5 to be exact. You've got a couple over here in this corner. You've got several down on the bottom that tie into this inner structure. There's more along this side. You've also, don't forget, there is some on this area on each side, and on the opposite side, same thing. So now, as you guys can see, it's full of dirt because off-road truck, but we're actually getting ready to take the rest of this apart, and it's pretty well loose. So I believe I'm at the point now of actually unclipping the thing. You can see just how loose it is. So I'm gonna have to set the camera down and probably get some help to get this thing off of here, but it is definitely ready to pull. And by the looks of the thing, it's got like some kind of a snap clip, which you can see from the bottom. Kind of hard to tell. Up in there, there's some clips, and it looks like it just snaps in. So I don't think it's gonna be too bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off and show you guys what this thing looks like as a skeleton front end. It's gonna be crazy. All right guys, so like I said, not really a lot of videos out there on this thing. So I did go ahead and pull all these T15s just like we talked about. However, there are 4 10mm bolts on the ZR2. 2 of them are pretty obvious, like I talked about earlier. You can see them right there. Now, if you're wondering where the heck's the other 4, well, right there it is. See up in here? That little bolt right there. That's it. So you got 2 of those on each side that kind of support the outer sections of the grill. So keep in mind, if you go tugging and pulling on this thing and it's not coming out, look in the corners on each side of the grill. You're gonna find 2 more 10mm hidden up here in these corners. So I did just find that, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I am super close to getting this thing off of here. But before I pull that bolt out, I wanted to make sure that you guys knew, do not try to rip this off. There are 4 10mm bolts in it. Save yourself some trouble. Find the other 2. All right guys, so one more thing I just found. There are also some 7mm bolts you can see right up here. I just took those out. This is on your inner fender, so when you get this out, you can see here how much. Now I can actually start to pull this thing off. I've got to go to the other side and do the same thing. There may be another way around this. I haven't really researched this at all, but there may be a way to pull this away from this little fascia piece. I'm sure there is, but there's a lot of tugging and pulling involved, and I really don't want to do that. I think it's gonna have to come off as an entire piece, but once I get it off, I'll be able to tell that for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead, hop over to the other side. There are 2 of those bolts. They look just like this, and they're a pain. Really small area to work in, and you don't have a lot of room to crank on anything. So I'm gonna go ahead, go to the other side, take those out. That should be the last 2 bolts. We'll be ready to take this thing off. All right guys, so we got the front bumper off the truck. It wasn't terrible to do, but it's just a lot of bolts. That's all I can say about it. So one thing I want to show y'all is where all of these bolts are at and what you can expect when you're getting into this. So on the sides, if you go yanking and pulling on this, you're gonna ruin this piece right here. You've got 3 7mm bolts you gotta take out. Actually, yeah, 3 7mm right here. You've also got these little intermediate brackets that I was showing you guys earlier. You'll wanna take those out. That's a 10mm. There's also 2 10mm down here. And then on the same exact thing going on at the other side. Now you can see all the T15s I took out, and all the T15s across the top that we took out, and that's it. So not really bad, just a lot of time. It's just finicky. It kind of sucks to do. All right, so we left these kind of loose, but you guys can kind of see how this works. Once you pull your crash bar off, you just slide this in behind it. So now we're gonna go grab that rough country light bar and size this thing up. We're gonna leave them loose though, like I said, just to kind of make sure that everything plays nice and it's gonna go where I want it. So let's go ahead and grab that and get this thing rolling. All right guys, so just kind of sizing this thing up, we did use a level right there, you could see, to make sure everything was true to the truck. I wanted it to be pretty straight, you know, I didn't really want it up in the clouds or down on the ground. They flood pretty good, so I'm gonna give this thing a shot. But this is a rough country light bar, rough country brackets. They work awesome, everything played really nice. And you can see here, this connector is watertight. And the rest of the harness that comes with this thing is super nice. It's really well done. You can see here, it's got a daytime running and then the full effect. So it's like a 2-position toggle. Wrapped up super nice in some like kind of a weather stripping, like an OEM style conduit. And then this plugs in. Pretty simple. Looks like it's threaded, so that is totally awesome. All right, y'all, so I wanted to turn this on real quick just to kind of see, make sure everything worked, and holy smokes, that thing is bright, man. That is awesome. All right, guys, so it's day 2. Got kind of late on me last night, so I decided to just hold off and come back in the morning and finish this thing up. So what we're going to be doing today is reassembling the rest of the front end. And everything worked out pretty good. Light bar came on. As you guys saw, everything was good to go. The other thing I did was I went ahead and looked at some of this wiring. And looks like the easiest way for me to do this neat and correctly is going to be to go through the firewall. I don't like this idea, but it's really the only option I've got. You guys see down there, that is your hood latch, what I believe is the hood latch. It should be able to go through and drill a hole right above that black sort of looking cable. I'm going to drill a hole right above that, run a grommet, and then we're going to hide the rest of the wiring going through that grommet. So what you may have to do is pull all these loose from your switch. That way they'll actually fit through the firewall. So I'm going to go ahead now and get ready to take this battery out, because I'm going to have to try and get a drill in here somehow. And as you guys can see, the Colorado don't really have a whole lot of room to fit any kind of a drill. So we're definitely gonna have to take the battery out. So let's go ahead and just dive straight into this thing. All right, guys, so to get the battery out isn't really that big of a deal. Some of you guys may have this on the top. I don't know if everybody does, but looks like mine has been into before, probably from where they've either put a new battery in this truck at one time, maybe GM done it. But so anyway, back in there is where we got to get to. It looks like I'm not going to have any trouble getting the drill back in there. I should be able to come back at a little bit of an angle and probably drill that hole right through there. So to get this battery out, no big deal. You've got a top brace that runs across, and then you've got a threaded hole down here. And you got a doohickey that kind of looks like this that holds it in. And there's your top across the tray. And of course, all you GMT 400 guys. Of course, all you GMT 400 guys are going to be familiar with these. GMT 800. Pretty much anything Chevrolet. So yeah, they still stuck to their roots. One good thing about it though, this truck is entirely metric. I'm not used to that. The muscle truck, as you guys know, is a combination of standard and metric. So most stuff from the 90s is just, you don't know what you're going to get. But this is pretty cool. Everything is metric. So guys, so we're going to go inside and actually do the boring from there. It turns out the outside hole was a no-go. It's really hard to get anything in there. We had a challenge there because you have to use something like this to get on the inside. Not everybody's going to have this. And it's kind of awkward to actually get to the firewall with this. So we ended up using a unibit and being able to come in through the floorboard. Turns out GM actually had a provision in these trucks for a clutch master cylinder or a clutch pedal down there. And there's like a, you can see where it's stamped in the firewall. Let's come over here and check this out. So from down here on the bottom, you can see where I've drilled right there. That is the perfect pattern for like a clutch, slave cylinder, master cylinder, something. Obviously it'd be a master cylinder or a pedal. Cool. So now we're going to take our unibit and drill a 625 hole through the bottom up here, run the harness in, and hook it all up. Alright guys, so I got pretty clever on this one. Turned out, I think this is going to be okay. So I ran the wires, of course you guys know, down through the bottom and came across the side. And what I think I'm actually going to do is go right there with it. Looks pretty neat. I'll either drill holes for that or just use some 3M tape. The 3M stuff I've got now is kind of old, so it's not really wanting to stick all that well. But I think that's a good spot for it to go. I can take it like right here, and I'll get some Velcro tape or something that's a little bit stronger. But I think that's going to be a good spot, because then you could just quickly just bam, hit the light bar right there. You don't have to reach underneath the dash. Worked out pretty good. I am going to go ahead and hide the rest of this. Hook this bad boy up, make sure everything works, put the battery back in, and then we can start reassembling the front end of it. So I think that's going to be one of the better spots for your light bar switch to avoid doing anything crazy to this dash. All right, guys, so the light bar is in. Everything is tightened up. Everything is down. And it wasn't too bad to put it back together, really. Several different little bolts and things like that you got to put back in, but not too bad. Yeah, I mean, it's takes a little time. You're looking at about a 5 or 6 hour job to do this, but if you've seen me take it apart, I saved you the viewing pleasure of watching me assemble it again, which really is just reverse order of that. There was nothing special about it or fancy. I will show you the wiring real quick, what kind of happened there. Pretty neat. I was able to come up through the washer right beside this jug, come around this side. You can see there I've got my ground on, and then the hot goes right there. Pretty simple. And then goes through the grommet that I showed you guys earlier into the cab. And I did finish the rest of the stuff in the cab. I'm actually standing on the 4-post lift right now. So here's the little mount I come up with. It's pretty trick. Works pretty good. So when you flip that on, light bar comes on. So not bad. Pretty neat. Not like very obvious or anything. I just ran the wires up through the console and across the top and then out the firewall. So there you go, guys. That's a pretty simple way to put a light bar in your truck without completely destroying anything. You can just make yourself an L bracket, and it's actually got enough of a wedge in there to hold itself. You can see it might move just a touch, but I mean, it should be just fine. I'm not going to be standing on that thing. I'll probably barely even use it, because the light bar is not really legal except if you're off-road, maybe coming home late at night or something. But there you go, guys. There's kind of a little update on the truck, and a pretty easy install. Really not too bad to install a light bar in these trucks. I was actually pretty surprised. I figured it'd be a lot worse than this. So kudos to GM for leaving some nice accessory holes there to use. Definitely made this job a lot easier. So I think what we're going to do now is get the thing out at night. We'll get it out at night and we'll give it a full shakedown, see how it's going to do out on the trail tonight. I may take it out for a little bit of wheeling action. We'll just have to see. It's actually pouring rain right now, so might make for some muddy conditions up on the mountain. We may go check it out. But there you go, guys. There's your light bar install, rough country. Make sure if you're going to do this, buy the brackets and the light bar. You'll want to get both. It was a super easy install and everything worked really nice. Shout out to Rough Country, made a great product. Wiring harness was phenomenal. Very, very easy to use, easy to wire in. It was pretty self-explanatory, so they did a truly awesome job on this thing. So with that one, guys, I'm going to cap it off here. I'm going to thank you guys for watching this video, and if you haven't done it already, be sure and subscribe. Check out all the other playlist videos on the Colorado. You don't want to miss anything going on with this. Here in a few weeks, we're going to be leaving for Colorado in the Colorado. So be sure and subscribe. We got some crazy stuff coming up for this channel. And with that one, thanks for watching. I will catch you all in the next video.